What's up everyone? In today's video I'm going to show you how you can take one of these and make it one of these. And this is how I did it. What's up everybody? My name's Lewis, aka MrCameraJunkie, and welcome to another do-it-yourself camera hack. If this is your first time here and you would like to see more videos about photography, gear, and do-it-yourself hacks, make sure you hit the subscribe button and click on that bell to stay up to date. In this video, I'm going to show you how I made a tabletop dolly with just some parts from my local hardware store and an old rollerblade. Let me show you how I did it. Okay, in this step what we're going to do is just basically disassemble the wheels. Okay, should be simple enough. I'm going to put this to hold on one side. Alright, make sure to save all of the hardware. You're going to need it. Everything that we need. These are the pieces that I came to purchase over here at Lowe's to get my frame together. Pretty lucky that some of the holes are already pre-cut, especially these right here. These I'm just gonna drill out to size so that I can put the wheels on the track. So let's get to it. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna measure the distance. These are 12 inches each, 1 foot, and I'm just using the measuring tape to get a center point and just mark it on each one. And here, I already have one set. I'm going to mimic one right here in the center. So now that we have that set, I'm gonna go here as well on this 7-inch bracket and go 3.5 inches, which is also the center point of the entire thing. Also make sure it's centered. Okay. And I think that's it. Now to start drilling. Every time I drill on a table like this, I bring a piece of 2x4 so that I don't drill through the table. Another thing I do is I clamp everything down to make it nice and tight. Just my preference. I clamp all three things together: the table, the 2x4, and the piece of metal. The holes that I'm going to be drilling here are going to be 1/4 inch. And before we drill, I'm going to make a couple of taps here. Not even sure that's what it's called. Nice little starting points for the drill. So for those of you who've ever tried to drill into metal, you know that the drill bit could go crazy. This gives it a nice little groove. And as you can see, the drill bit doesn't go crazy. And the third, I'm just gonna be making this one bigger. That looks good. Ooh, it's hot out here. All right, that looks good, right? Set that off to the side. And once again, clamp it down. On these, I just have to make one tap or starting point dead center. That's all I have to do for that, because besides that point, I'm just gonna be enlarging the middle points of the pre-cut holes. So again, that looks good. And now just to repeat the process. Holes all drilled out. Now we're gonna go inside and put this together. Alright, here we are with all of our parts laid out. After I drilled the holes, I did sand them down or file them down just so that they will be nice and flush. Another thing to correct, I did make holes in 1/2 inches when these needed to be 5/16 so that they can fit the wheels. So with that correction being said, let's get to putting this together. Another thing that I added here as far as parts on is old little tripod mounts extras that I had floating around here. So I actually deconstructed one of these mounts, took the C-clip that was holding it in place off, and this is what I'm going to be using as my center point so that I could attach various different mounts onto this plate here, saying whether it be like, you know, a ball head or maybe even just the camera itself through, you know, the connection at the bottom. This is what I'm gonna be using. All right. Okay, we have all the parts that we need for our project laid in front of us. Let's get to it. All right. First, I'm going to start with the guide arms, which are basically going to be holding the wheels here in place. First thing that I'm going to do is actually start with the wheels. One thing for me as far as aesthetics, I'm going to be putting all of the letterings of the wheels towards the inside. They just look generic on the outside. I think it just gives a better aesthetic. But the way that I'm going to do it is by inserting this from the back side. All right. There we go. And we're going to repeat this process on both brackets. So that's my first step. Now that I have these brackets, we're going to be using our lock washers and just placing them like so. Next, we're just going to be using 5/16 washers to give the perfect space so that the lock washer isn't directly onto the bearings and should flow smoothly. So now it's just basically applying the wheels like so. And now we just need to close them down. I'm just hand tightening the screws at first. As you can see, this is not hard at all. Now let me get the tools that I'm going to need to finish this up. Alright, the big gun. Now that we've just hand tightened our screws here, I'm going to hold this in the back and we're gonna screw them down. Okay, that should be good. So now we have this track like so. So this is what it should look like, and now we're going to complete this process as well. Gotta be careful with this. All right. All right, now we have our second track. Seems simple enough. Next step that I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna build the center, column. Gonna need it to add a couple of spacers just to get it flush with the plate itself. And now with that being there, I'm going to be adding this C-clamp to hold it in place so that it doesn't fall out like so. Leatherman, handy tool. All right, look at that, that fits so snug. So now we have the 1/4 inch connection, same that you'd find at the bottom of every camera at the center of our plate. The next step here for me is I'm actually going to bend the wheels, or the chassis so to speak, right here at the weak point with the big holes. Now it's so fortunate that I found this piece because it makes it super easy. Instead of me trying to make sure that I have a perfect line on a flat board, with the holes cut out here in the center, actually just makes it a lot easier to bend both sides evenly, creating the aesthetic for the wheels that I want for this table dolly. I'm just gonna show you exactly how I do it, and right here I'm just gonna do it with my hand, and I'm gonna bend it to get it to I would say just a little bit past a 45-degree angle, or no, that's a 90-degree angle. So if it's a 90-degree angle, I would say maybe 87, kind of like that. Reason being, I find that it's a lot more stable with the bend towards the inside, being that the wheel isn't trying to bend outward when it's holding the weight of the camera. The more weight applies, the more in it's gonna try to push. Once again, I'm gonna repeat that process here and on the other bracket as well. That looks good to me. All right, that's the first one. And once again, the holes make it very easy and convenient, and the location happened to be perfect. I will repeat the process. can see no extra tools needed. Good old trusty hands. Okay, that looks good to me. Alright. And we're almost done. Now I'm gonna take the 1/4" screw. I'll be putting in one lock washer underneath. I'm gonna do it for both sides. And now from bottom up, I'll be putting them into the bracket. Alright, so this is what we should be looking like. Kind of like a letter H from the top view here. We're gonna apply a washer and a washered wing nut. Now I'm going to hand tighten because that's what makes it convenient. The washered wing nut here. No extra tools are going to be needed when you're using this. And you get it nice and locked. And that's it. We have our little roller dolly. I also added an extra washer that I cut just so that I can place in the center. The way I've actually configured it is that the same tripod, I just take the handle. So now I have here standard camera mount for my tripod, but now I've mounted the head onto the cart. Actually gives me a little handle that allows me to control the cart while I have the camera mounted on top. Super convenient. Do it yourself. Construction is complete. One thing left to do. Let's go test it out. I gotta say that I had a lot of fun making this tabletop dolly, and I was really pleased with the results. Especially that dolly zoom that I got of my friend Bruce was really nice. But after all, I'm just still amazed at, you know, what you can do with such a small rig. So please let me know what you thought in the comments below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the like button and share this video with your friends if that's something that you're into. And I will see you all in the next video.